Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan Providence. I'm a graduate assistant.
My name is Adrian Vasquez. I'm an intern at the Heinz Institute.
And today, on our special edition of the Ionavation Podcast, we have Hillary Millman, marketing and communications consultant and owner of In Better Words. How are you doing today, Hillary?
I'm great. Having a great time at the Heinz Institute this afternoon.
It's good to hear. So I actually was listening to your e-talk and I really thought it was very communication focused and it focused on impact. So why don't you give the Spark Notes version of your e-talk for all our viewers?
Okay, so we really talked through my career and the how and why I decided to become an entrepreneur, which a little bit, as I shared, was by accident, just kind of taking advantage of opportunities as they came up and paying attention to my skills and how I like to spend my time and how those things could be used to help other people and help me earn a living. So that's really what we focused on and some of the lessons learned through that time, which are many, and I'm still learning them.
Right.
Yeah, so part of your mission in Better Words is to pretty much give a spark to small businesses and nonprofits. Mm-hmm. So what would you say is the key to effective communication in that business setting?
I think it's a couple of things. I think one of them is to be really genuine in your interactions. So again, when you're going out into the world to offer something to people, is to think about, what you love to do, what you're passionate about, what you're good at, and then also and how you can match that up with other people's needs. So being, if you've done that in advance as you're going out into the world, when you communicate, you will have a more genuine approach. And also I'd say be generous, and be genuine and generous and, within the realm of professional communication. And we talked a little bit about before the need to always be focused on your audience when you're communicating. So rather than, thinking about things from your point of view, I'd really like people to know this about me. I really want them to know that I'm smart or that I'm talented or that I have the next best great idea is, be client focused or audience focused and think about what they're thinking about. It's psychology. Mm-hmm. And try to address that. So their needs, what problems you can solve for them, what opportunities you can create, and then communicate based on that. So you're always talking to them directly.
Mm-hmm. I really like how you mentioned that genuine approach, how often if we serve others, cater to others, that often ends up serving ourselves as well. Mm-hmm. by mere just product of it.
Yes.
And that actually brings me to my next question,
okay.
Is that some businesses may struggle with that. So can you name one example of business that they have struggled with their marketing and needed your advice?
Yes. I think one of the things and this is one business, but also many businesses and nonprofits together, is that their marketing was really focused. So you would meet them and they would say, hey, we were founded in 1950 something, and would start talking about the very solid and worthwhile history of the business or the organization. But it's not necessarily relevant to the person who's listening to them. So when you met them in person or you went to their website, that history was the first thing you saw. It was about what happened 70 years ago. And if I'm someone with a concern or a problem or a need or an idea, and you're telling me about what happened 70 years ago, or quite frankly, even 70 months ago, it's probably, you may, if I need something very much, you may lose my attention. So I think there's always a place for that, but it's on, a back page of the website or a deeper conversation. And it goes back to that principle of meeting the audience where they are. But I'll say, two examples is one, I met someone who in person was talking about their business and started with that when they were founded and asked my advice. And I very nicely said, I don't think that's the strongest opening. And then I did some marketing work for actually, someone who was recruiting volunteers to be EMTs. And, that was really thinking about why someone would want to be an EMT. And, originally there had been some talk about maybe creating some obligation. And I thought that I wanted to shift that conversation to how great we could make people feel by giving them the chance to help people and be a resource. And I thought that that was a little more of like a positive, uplifting way to do that.
Well spoken. So within your role, I'm sure there are countless different, I guess, categories that you have to manage, whether it comes to organization, marketing, communication. There's a lot of different things that go into that. So from your personal experience, what would you say is the most common problem that you see in small businesses and nonprofits that you've had to address?
The most common problems. One of them is communicating with all different audiences and not knowing how to find them and what to say to them. So really dividing those things. So if you have multiple products or services that you're offering or multiple people you're talking to, how do we do that? And sometimes it's a matter of, okay, you need more than one thing. So more than one piece of marketing material or more than one way to talk about your business. You don't have to say everything all at once. So if you're going to a networking event and you know that this set of people is going to be there, cater what you say, how you introduce yourself and talk about your business or organization to who is going to be in the room. And you would do that in person, just like you would do if you were on Facebook. You would know who the demographics are on Facebook. It skews older. It might, when I do advertising on Facebook, it's a lot of childcare and education related organizations. And I see that we mostly get women responding like between a certain age. So after watching that for a long time, that's who I cater my ads and language to, the demographics. So I would say they have trouble figuring out, narrowing down their demographic and figuring out what to say to them and where to reach them. And that's something that any marketing person will help someone be able to do. And again, coming back to getting them away from saying, only talking about how great the product is or how great, and I say product or service because you have people who are selling a thing that can do something, or you have people who are selling their own services, an accountant, an attorney, someone like me, I sell services, I don't sell stuff. Right. So I have to talk about what I can do for you, not how brilliant I am, because me being brilliant does, if you want to hire me to sell your suit jackets that you sewed together, me telling you I'm brilliant doesn't tell you whether I can help you sell your suit jackets. It's not how we do it. So that's really the main thing.
Okay. 100%. So as we go through all this, you had to go through and all your responsibilities. So audience analytics, communication, word choice. I'm sure all that really does add up in terms of mental resources. But I'm also sure there's some reward to that. There's some lay at the end of the tunnel, like, okay, I want to do this because of this.
Yes.
What is that one favorite thing you really like about owning In Better Words, the work that goes into it?
Oh, there's lots of things. I mean, I'll say getting the email or the text or something from someone saying thank you, that there was something that was hard for them or that they didn't understand and they came to me and I helped them solve the problem, and getting a thanks from them, because it makes me feel like, I work hard, I'm stressed out, as most people I know are, but getting that note from someone makes me feel like that was a worthwhile endeavor. And it's always nice to feel like your efforts helped achieve something. Certainly on the nonprofit side, I've been lucky enough to get notes saying, you wrote our appeal letter. So a nonprofit at the end of the year will often send out an appeal letter, like in December, and give people the opportunity to make a big donation in that tax year. So it's kind of a thing that a lot of nonprofits do. And I've helped a number of them write those annual appeal letters, and someone will come back and say, oh, you wrote the appeal letter this year. It was 30% more, we raised 30% more than we've ever raised before, or something like that. And that's also a really nice thing, because it's, you provided a service, you're charging for it, you want to feel like it was worthwhile. So that's been very, very rewarding.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's one thing to put in a lot of work towards something, but then when you get that
yes,
it just is like the icing on the cake.
Yeah, you want to see it.
But unfortunately, that's all the time we have today.
Gotcha.
Thank you, Hillary, for tuning
pleasure.
in with us and gracing the Ionic community with your presence. This has been Jordan Providence and
Adrian Vasquez.
And thank you for tuning in with this special edition of the Ionavation Podcast. Have a good day.